Pauline, now, two things. You've come to talk to us about the BME Leadership Forum event, and you've also come to talk to us about ACA. Now, let's do ACA first of all, because about a year ago I was told that was no longer, but clearly not. Give us an update so that the community is clear about what's happening with ACA.
Okay, just to say that ACA is still operating. What happened about this time last year, as with everybody else, and has become even more worse for other people, is the funding situation in which we find ourselves. ACA is a voluntary and community sector organisation. It's a company limited by guarantee with charitable status. So most of our work is dependent on funding of one sort or another, and that funding is funding that we have to go out and seek for ourselves. We have in the past been funded by whether it's county council or city council, and as you know, with the government spending review and everything else, there isn't as much funding to go around in the voluntary and community sector as previously there was, and therefore the ACA then had to make a reduction in its staffing levels, myself included, and our sort of admin support. And that happened last year, and I think as a result of that, people thought that we weren't there because we had to curtail our services quite severely. However,
you're still around.
We're still around.
You're still delivering some services.
And we're still delivering some services.
What services are you actually delivering, Pauline?
We still do the Saturday school, and we are still looking for more people to attend that. The Saturday school is for children from the ages of 5 through to 12. We do slightly older if there are particular educational needs that those young people have, but otherwise it is for the ages of 5 up to 12. The idea behind the Saturday school, which has been going now for over 15 years, almost 20 years that it's been going, is around improving the educational achievement or attainment of our young black children. And so the Saturday school delivers on the usual curriculum subjects, but will also cover black history. And as I say, we have started back and we are delivering. And so if there are any parents out there who know that their children could do with some additional support in literacy, numeracy, geography, you know, the usual curriculum subjects, then please do send them along. It runs from 10 o'clock on a Saturday until 12 o'clock. So we'd like people to arrive by 1:45 so they can start prompt. It's only 2 hours. It's really quite short. So if people don't arrive on time, then it does eat into the limited time that we have to give to the children. And of course the tutor does help the children with their homework, time permitting as well.
All right then. So what benefits, what's the feedback for those pupils that have used your service and the parents as well?
We've had very positive feedback. So, as I said, we've just started back, and the feedback that we're getting from parents is that it is a positive one. We've got the young children themselves very much look forward to coming. Those who have been coming come very regularly, unless we have some who, if they are attending church and church is on a Saturday, then there are some issues around them, or if they go away on conventions or something like that, then there might be some of those who can't make it. But it's not just for children who are at church, obviously it's right across the community. So the children, as I said, it's about giving them that additional support in whichever of their subjects they find they have additional needs in. And parents have the feedback that we've had, and we've just taken sort of a poll on those coming back to find out what they think, and they have said that their child has found, or children have found it very beneficial indeed.
Okay, you've got a qualified teacher taking this class,
Yes, we have got
you?
qualified teachers, yes.
Yeah. So Pauline, if people are interested, it's free service?
Yes, at the moment it's free, but one of the things that we have noticed and parents have commented on is sometimes getting the children to the Saturday school on a Saturday. So ideally what we'd like to be able to do, having, as I'm talking about funding, is to be able to pay a minibus driver to drive the minibus. So it may well be that though we won't charge for the lessons that we deliver, but we might need to make a charge so that we can pay someone to drive the minibus.
Okay, then.
So that will take place in the new year.
What's the telephone number that people need to ring, Pauline?
So the telephone number for the ACA, or the Gloucester African and Caribbean Association, based at 213 Barton Street, is 01452 3877 754. Now, as I say, I'm there at the moment, and I'm there on a volunteer basis because of our funding issue, but there's always a 24-hour answering machine. So if there's no one there to answer the phone call, the answer machine will pick up the call.
Right, okay then. So Saturday School is one of the services that African Caribbean Association provides. What else are you up to?
One of the other things that we're doing is the parenting program, which is the Strengthening Families, Strengthening Communities parenting program, which is a parenting program that's been developed by an American psychologist to deal predominantly with ethnic minority families, so that you can sort of bridge that gap between the culture in which you're operating in as a host community and your own sort of culture. So it recognises the culture that you are from, the culture that you're operating in. It aims to give you tips and techniques to work with your children in terms of their behaviour and discipline, and it also helps you and guides you around how you can participate within the community in which you live. So there is a community involvement element to the programme.
And is that programme up and running already?
We've got some funding, and the funding was around working with 16 to 19-year-olds, because again, looking at some of the targets that need to be met by the by the council and local authorities, is that teenage pregnancies is one of the issues for the county. So we, looking at the statistics and figures that there are out there, decided that there was the need, based on those statistics, for a programme targeting that age group. And we look to work with Connections and other agencies, but to date it hasn't worked quite as well as we would want it to do. So I'm busy remarketing that and looking to start again in the new year. So we will restart it in January. It's a 13-week programme. It's a free programme, but it's a highly beneficial programme for anybody who would want to participate. So I would encourage people, again, on the number that I gave you before, which is Gloucester 387754, to ring and find out some more about the parenting programme and to actually come along and participate in that. So we're taking names.
Okay, so the parenting programme isn't necessarily saying that you're a bad parent. It's enabling you as a member of the ethnic minority community to participate in, you call it the host community, but within British society, because the rules, the regulations and the way that people function are quite different in the host community to the way that we ourselves have been raised. I mean, I'm second, third generation, and you know, it is different for me, as it was for my mother and, you know, her mother, my grandmother back in Jamaica, and it's trying to bridge the gap, isn't it?
It is that, and it's you know, it's letting you know that you're, as you quite rightly say, Althea, it's not because you're a bad parent. I think anybody who makes the decision to come onto the programme, to me, that's an indication that you are a good parent, because you are thinking about how you can raise your child or children. You're thinking about some of the issues that you're likely to face. And we, all of us, have, you know, good days and bad days as parents. I'm a parent, I'm now grandparent. And so there are days when you think, you know, you're just tearing your hair out because you're thinking, how can I get this child to behave, or what can I do, you know, if it's because the programme covers sort of from toddlers through to teenagers. So it's looking at sort of, as I say, the behaviours of your children, the characteristics or makeup of your children and yourself, and how you as a parent engage with your child and vice versa. And yes, it is also trying to bridge that gap between the two cultures, the way that you were raised as a child and how you might want to bring that sort of rearing across to your own child, but how does that then wash with the way that their peers are brought up, and then the conflicts that can arise when those two cultures clash. You're saying, no, you can't. The culture may be saying, yes, they can. So how do you manage that? Yeah.
And, you know, you say you're doing it in partnership with the Gloucester County Council?
Yes, Connections.
So is the learning from that actual programme, does that go back into Connections, maybe back through education? Because there's the element of, let's get people in and teach them something, and enable them and support them. But does the learning come back from that and go back to the organisations, the very organisations that impact on these young people? Connections, for example, Gloucester County Council, Education Department, who all have to work with Afro-Caribbean young people. So is there any learning for them and a greater understanding of how the society that they live in as a norm impacts on us Afro-Caribbeans and particularly our children and us as parents?
Okay. There isn't any learning that goes directly back to that particular organisation, and I have to say at this point we've also received some monies from the Henry Smith's Trust or Foundation, so I have to acknowledge them in the funding that we received from them. But one of the things that we would like to do with organisations like Connections or County Council or any organisation that has an input into the lives of young people, and BME young people in particular, is that they too take up our offer to run a course for them as professionals, so that they can learn from this particular program, because we feel that it would be of benefit for those professionals to actually participate in this program, because as you then say, that they then impact on the lives of the young people who are in the system in one way or another, whether it is through Connections, whether it's through looked after children or any other form of agencies that have an impact on the lives of young people.
Okay, now Pauline, just one final thing on ACA. You said you've got the AGM coming up, haven't you?
That's right. We've got our AGM on the Monday, the 22nd of November at 6:30, and that will be at the Barton Community Centre, which is 199 to 205 Barton Street. And the theme this year is, as usual, is the value of education, because most of our AGMs are themed around education. But in particular, we're looking at pathways into teaching for black teachers. So we'll have speakers from the University of the West of England and Gloucester University, and both universities will be talking about what steps they're taking to encourage more black and minority ethnic people into teaching.
Okay then. So remind us when that's taking place?
So again, that will be on Monday, 22nd of November, and it starts at 6:30 at the Barton Community Centre, which is on Barton Street, 199 to 205.
And anyone's welcome to attend that?
Anyone and everyone. We'd like as many people as possible to come along, but in particular we'd like those people who have an interest into wanting to go into teaching.
Brilliant.
We want people to come along, because we'd also like some new people to join our management committee.
Okay. Any food involved?
Oh yes. Well, I don't know. There'll be very light refreshments, because, as you said, we're poor now.
Okay then. Right. So that's that event taking place.